my name is Talitha Montesi. I am preparing a persuasive speech for my oral communications class with Colorado Christian University. In the audience with me today is Dave and Jacob. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Hi.
All right, let's get started. First, I'm going to start with a question. Have you ever taken food to a friend recovering from surgery? Have you ever babysat for a single mom? Helped a friend move? Jumped a stranger's car? Visited an acquaintance in the hospital? Have you ever offered to help at a child's sporting event? Have you ever taken goodies to a new neighbor and welcomed them to the neighborhood and showed them around? Have you ever been on the receiving end of any of these services? Anyone?
Yep, many of them.
If you have ever helped someone move, chances are you dreaded it. But afterwards, you had a sense of fulfillment. You may have even a deepened relationship. If you have been the recipient, you can attest to how impactful a simple act of kindness was for you. Chances are you can identify with some acts of kindness in some form, whether it's recipient or you're the giver. Volunteering for 18 years with the local fire service, 12 years with the local nonprofit that educates the public on health emergencies, 5 years with various sports, religious, and arts groups, I can attest to the many benefits of volunteering. I have felt the emptiness of being in need and not knowing where the help would come from. Being a mother of 2 teenage boys, I understand that many times we must mandate what does not come naturally for the benefit of those that we love. Today, we're going to talk about welcome. Today, we're going to talk about the many reported benefits of volunteering and why I believe community service should be a requirement for graduation from both middle and high school. We will also address the most common arguments against such a requirement. The world that we live in, it has become characterized by instant responses, electronic dependency, and a drive for ever improving efficiency. Googling is actually a word in Webster's dictionary. Surveys have revealed that email is checked by the average person in America 10 times a day. This does not include web searching, gaming, or shopping on your phone. According to a 2014 survey, Americans spend an average of 177 minutes a day on mobile devices and 168 minutes a day watching TV. That's an average of 5.75 hours a day in front of a screen. We need help expanding our peripheral vision and getting away from screens. There is too much need in the world to be constantly focused on a screen. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, only 25% of Americans volunteered in the year of 2013. So, what can we do? Community service, again, in my mind, should be a requirement for middle and high school graduation, most notably because the pros far outweigh the cons of such a requirement. We will start with the benefits. A 2013 survey done by United Healthcare revealed the following benefits of volunteering. 76% of volunteers feel better physically, mentally, and emotionally. 78% of volunteers report having less stress in their life. 94% report an improved mood. 96% report a stronger sense of purpose in their life. And at least 50% report that volunteering has improved their teamwork abilities, their time management abilities, their communication between employers and employees and coworkers, and has also helped them earn professional job skills that maybe they weren't so good at before. In her blog, Diane Ryan reports that students who volunteer are more civically involved, most notably more likely to vote when they graduate. Most colleges and employers look at community service when they're considering applicants. Volunteering has also been shown to improve networking for people and to help direct students down a career path they might not have known they were interested in. Lastly, according to research done at University of Michigan in 2005, students who volunteer are less likely to drop out of high school, score higher on aptitude tests, and have higher GPA overall grades. So this is a lot of benefits that we get from volunteering. Now let's talk about the most common arguments against making this a requirement. First, community service should be voluntary, not required. It should be something that comes from the motivation of the heart. this is true for adults, I would agree, but kids often need more direction to make healthy decisions. If the program offered many choices to choose an elective, most could usually find an option that would be lining up with some interest that they have. Second, making community service a requirement is not constitutional. This actually was taken up with the U.S. Court of Appeals, and it was rejected. The reason they rejected it was because community service as a requirement is designed to benefit the student. Third, community service would take too much time away from academic requirements. Actually, I think if you track the time that your children were spending in front of a screen, you would find there's plenty of time for community service. So what would such a program look like? I think my only recommendation, or just one recommendation anyway, would be that however many students or however many teachers are in a class in a school, and I think for Evergreen High School, there are about 75 teachers. Each one would choose some kind of outreach organization that they would like to hook up with. And then the students have 75 options to pick from which they have to do their community service requirement. I would recommend somewhere in the area of 25 hours a semester, and they would just sign up like an elective. In Evergreen, where we live, there are actually over 160 registered nonprofit organizations alone, and our town is only about 8,000 people. So I think it would be really easy. Okay, not 8,000, 35,000 people, 35,000 people, 45,000 people. Still 160 is pretty good. So, to conclude, today we've discussed the many pros and cons associated with community service being a requirement in middle and high school for graduation. Across the United States currently, only 2 states require this. It's Maryland and the District of Columbia. However, there are similar requirements. Right now, there are 21 states that require CPR certification for graduation. That's a very similar requirement. I'm going to hand out a little information for you guys to use to go home with so you can reference what we've gone over today. On the bottom, you'll see listed several of the 160 different nonprofit organizations in Evergreen that just give you a flavor of the variety that's available to us. We have seen an example of my one recommended program. It's my hope that parents and citizens alike will agree with the United Healthcare Group when they say doing good is good for all of us. I encourage you to write your state representatives encouraging this legislation. And in the meantime, put down your phone. Get off the couch, step away from your computer, and go out and volunteer. Any questions?